DECAP.
I've gotten a lot of people asking me how I get my drums to bounce. I'm gonna show you guys how to make your drums bounce, what you can do to give your drums more groove. I'm just going through Drums That Knock Volume 9. I'm gonna load this hi-hat, and this hi-hat, and this hi-hat, and this hi-hat. Let's see what we got. Let's get this kick. Let's get this rim shot, and let's get this snare. Let's start with a hi-hat pattern. In Drums That Knock Volume 9, I try to have different hi-hat sounds that all sound similar together. If we look at what's in here, bright, crisp, grilled hi-hat 1 and 2, they have the same tone, but a slightly different sound. So when you use them together, they're gonna sound like a hi-hat kit, but you can interchange them to get different bounces. Listen to all the differences between these. Some are shorter, some are longer. It's like in a family. When I'm making my drums, I try to load the hi-hats like within a family. And then, that's not a rule, but that helps to keep it together. You see how that feels? So now let's get a snare going. I'm gonna duplicate this pattern. Let's make that a snare. Let's get a kick now. Okay. So this drum pattern's dope. Whenever you load up sounds from Drums That Knock, it punches. But the pattern's kind of basic. What we're gonna do is spice up the pattern. One thing I like to do is, once I have a kick, snare, and hi-hat, I like to think about the groove that I want. And this is all with quantize. What I'm gonna do is go to all the hi-hat channels, I'm gonna go to the wrench, and I'm gonna shift it off the grid. Just turn up this shift knob. Already it just has more bounce. Just that one hi-hat off the grid. So let's do the same with the 6 one. You can play with different shift timing. And this one. Already, that sounds so much better. Let's turn the kick up a little bit. Another thing we're gonna do is we're gonna throw some random hi-hat rolls in there. So let's get the right kind of hi-hat for that. I like something real short and plucky. That's cool. Then we're gonna open piano roll. Let's change the grid. Another thing I like to do is make sure the envelope cuts off by shortening the release, so when the hi-hat only plays for this amount of time, the rest of the sound cuts out. We're gonna do the same thing on this hi-hat. We're gonna throw it off the grid. Let's see what it sounds like at a different pitch. All right, another thing I like to do is mess with the panning. These hi-hats, we're gonna pan all the way to the right. I don't know if the panning will come through on the stream. I'm still working that out. But that should be in your right ear. If it doesn't come in through stereo, imagine that on your right side. So then we're gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna pitch this down an octave and put it on the left side. That's pretty hard. It's the shift knob and the time option in FL. And then, like, from there, what I love about FL is you can go in with the sound. I can go into the snare, into piano roll, and you can add sounds at different pitches. Then I'm just gonna activate the limiter in FL. So it doesn't go above 0. A lot of people ask, how should I process your drums and what should I do to make that shit hit hard? I mean, you don't have to do anything. You just load it up and you're ready to go. So that's how you do it in FL Studio. I'm probably gonna use this pattern because this is dope. I'm gonna throw this off the grid a little more. So I'm gonna go to this pattern and I'm gonna click on this icon right here to bring up this grid. And you can shift individual notes to make it sound even more like a real drummer. I'm gonna shift this second note forward a little bit. It's subtle, but it adds to the bounce. When you're working in Ableton, you can just drag it by hand, or you can just not quantize it and play it in. When I'm making beats in FL, I tend to draw it in, it's fun and easy. But when I'm in Ableton, usually I just play it on the keys. Another thing you can do is you can go into this grid. You can edit your note pitch right from here without opening Piano Roll. So I can go. I mean, that's hard. That sounds good. I'm gonna save that.
DECAP.